All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mariah Roth. I am one of the techs here at MicroCAD. I see some familiar names on the list. So welcome back. And I see some names that I don't recognize. So good to meet you all. Today, we are going to be talking about our productivity tools, specifically within Revit. We do also offer these for AutoCAD and Civil 3D, if your firm might be interested in those as well. Please feel free at any time to type questions in the questions box, and I will try to get to them as I am going through. If I don't, I will certainly stay on the line and get you those answered. And if by chance I can't get those answered today, I will certainly reach back out to you with an appropriate answer. So if you aren't familiar with our productivity tools, they help you quite a bit. So from simple things as to making text capitalized, to pushing and pulling BIM information that's really specifically for project managers, or BIM managers, that's a part that we have also. So I'm just going to dive into Revit actually and look at this in real time. I find that's kind of the simplest way to go about this. Let me minimize one screen, bring up another one. You will see that I am using Revit 2021 in this instance. However, our products do go back to 2020, 2018, 2019. So I guarantee almost any version that you are using, we are certainly capable of handling that. So as a quick explanation, it does appear on your overall ribbon right next to your Modify tab. So as you can see here, there is a whole host of information that these tools can provide for you. So I'm not going to walk through every specific one in detail today. We can certainly do that at a later date with your specific company if you are highly interested. We're going to certainly go over them and what some of these actually can do. So starting left to right, our first panel is our BIM Manager panel. So our folder and our export and import just indicates, I apologize, stuff comes up on my other screens a lot, where this folder, where this project actually lives. Our export and import relates to the families within Revit. So perhaps you all have brought families into your specific project that you want to save out for future use. That's certainly what an export tool can do for you, as well as import. Perhaps you had something from an older project you want to bring in. The next dropdown is our BIM dropdown, and this is quite a hefty tool in and of itself. One of my personal favorites in here is the multi-type editor tool. That's certainly a mouthful. And what it does, I'm going to pick on doors here for a second because it's quite simple. A lot of companies obviously use doors in our projects. This is an easy way for you to go in to multiple type property settings at once and change that information as necessary. So perhaps all of your doors are now going to be a specific manufacturer. You can come in here and quickly type in that information, as well as model, again, any of the type properties that you are seeing. That information is right available for you. So closing out of that, we also have match instance parameters. So again, between different instances, you can certainly do that. Upgrade families is a very powerful tool. Perhaps you all have an older library that might be from 2016 or 2009, maybe all the way back. Or you've downloaded something from a content manufacturer and you want to bring those up to the most recent version. That's a great use for that upgrade family tool. And that copy standard, very similar to the out of the box, but with a few other nuances that you can look at. Again, that's transferring project standards from one project to the next. Another quite robust tool, it really is one of my favorites, is our BIM query tool. And this BIM query allows you to pull information either from categories, as we see here, or you can pull information from schedules. So I find schedules to be super useful. It's another way, in addition to that BIM dropdown, that you can push information out to Excel, update that information in Excel, and then actually pull that information back into Revit. And that's great if you have manufacturer information that you need to bring in, such as a hardware set, or you have little nuances for spec information. It's a great way to handle that information. Next up is our project cleanup. So a little bit easier cleanup located in one spot for you instead of going around and try to purge and clean up your schedules. So any of the ones that you see listed here, they are cleaned up within your project. And it shouldn't delete anything that is obviously placed. So again, just going to clean up anything that's not placed or being used without your project. Great for before archiving or before major milestones for a project. Next up is our QA model review. So you'll see here QA, QC tags, create tags, as well as toggling transparency. And what these tags actually do, it allows you to determine in a specific view, such as a floor plan, if something is tagged, such as a door, and if it is not, that door can be tagged with this QA, QC tag. So let me switch to floor plan. I'll show you some of these. There we go. Let me just save that just to be on the safe side. So if we do this QA QC tag, you will see another dialog box does pop up. And I know I pick on doors a lot, but certainly it looks at any and all categories within Revit. Looking at that doors, you can see untagged instances. And in this particular view, I don't have any, so that's kind of a good thing. Looking at QA/QC again, tagged instances, it selects all of them. And that's just a way you can ensure that your project information is tagged appropriately, especially before it goes out to bid or any major milestones. Our Analyze dropdown is for a few different options here. So you'll see items such as insertion, length, thickness. Thickness is a pretty nifty one that we have built in because it is now reporting the overall thickness of walls, which kind of out of the box Revit doesn't really produce that information. You see it in the structure as you are building the wall, but it's not actually schedulable without some tips and tricks here and there. Next up is our room lighting. So our room lighting is pretty nifty. You'll see it brings up the largest dialog box for you. You actually have all over your room names, your numbers, what that area is, and actually number of windows, the window area. Oh, let me try to get this expanded. And then that lighting percentage. So this is a great way, especially if any of your companies are going towards LEED accreditation or AIA 2030 challenge. Of course, room lighting is a big factor in that. This is a great way to see what that information is. Of course, some of these, like our restrooms, certainly wouldn't have any, but we're starting to see some numbers creep up there. All right. We then have our swing direction for the doors, so left versus right-handed. Of course, I know that can come into play when it's going to contractors. And then we have our Path Manager, which builds on top of the out-of-the-box Revit path of travel, excuse me. So looking at that really quick, see, let me do my thin lines. Just create one here real quick. All right, so trying to remember, let me see, so break from there to, I want to go to my office next. I think that's 135. And then one more office of 145. Then we can generate that. Oh. And it will actually tell you not only the distance, but the travel time for that particular travel. And what I did, create path. No, I don't want to save. You can see I went from my break room to one office to the next. And of course, Revit is smart enough to realize that you can't go through walls, so it does show you that overall path of travel. And if you can save these as templates, as I did not in this instance, but you can come back and update that. And it does go off the room location. So wherever that center point is, it does read that. So just be aware of that. It doesn't read the furthest corner. So just a heads up on that information. All right, I'm seeing a question. Is the MicroCAD Revit Tools tab an add-in? Yes, so my colleague Rebecca, who is on the line, might be able to speak a little bit better to this. It is an add-in that we do offer. I'm not sure of the pricing specifically. That would be our sales department. But you are provided with a license once you buy this from us, and then with a product key, very similar to how Autodesk is set up. And then you type in that information kind of up here in this license. I don't want to bring mine up because of course it's going to show my license number, but that's how that operates. All right, and then last but certainly not least is our room report. So our room report brings up room elements such as you see on the screen, ceilings, floors, walls, anything that is hosted to that particular room. And then when you click on that particular instance, there is more information that populates with that. Right. Update just updates any shared parameter values that might have been changed or added in at any point in time. So our visibility is actually in regards to rebar. So it's kind of a, excuse me, whether you want to make it obscured or unobscured, it is kind of, like I said, it is only related to rebar. It's not really referenced to architectural matters. All right. So moving on to our Annotate panel. So you can import a spreadsheet. So this import spreadsheet would be kind of a dumb spreadsheet, if you will. And I just mean it's not really tied to any information. But perhaps there are many instances where we have seen customers use this. You have something in Excel that you need brought into Revit, and this is a great way to do that. Next up are some of probably the most powerful tools or tools that we see a lot of people start using, and that's the align and the text here. So if you'll see on the align, there's simple kind of align text, aligning left and right, top and bottom, center and middle. So looking at a few of these, selecting two, go to line, that simple align, and I want to do my left. I can certainly do the right. It would, move it to the right side, the top and bottom, for example, bottom, it pulls that information as well. Just a great way to have your drawings cleaned up and looking consistent throughout. The same way with right or left, select these, align, right, excuse me. Oh, come on. Click and then go. Click and then go. Click and go. There we go. So each of them has, a few little nuances of their clicks as to which order it goes in. But obviously, great, quick, easy way to align information, left versus right, center, middle. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with that. Another great one is our text. So you'll see here you can go to all uppercase or to all lowercase. So perhaps you've typed something in sentence case. You can certainly come in here, uppercase, quick click of a button, and there you go. All right, our bubbles tool. Bubbles is always a fun thing to talk about. So our bubbles, if I select my grids here, then I go to my tools. So if I bring up the bubbles, so the bubbles work for grids and your levels when you would be in elevation. And then what this does, it just allows you to go through and quickly either show or hide the bubble at a pick point. So in this instance, I will show, At this end, you will see they all quickly appear. So again, just a quick way to clean up the drawings, make sure they're consistent, all of that stuff. And that works, like I said, that works for levels also. So our renumbering tools have quite a bit to them. So we can renumber by room. This is, as you're seeing here, in accordance with whatever that room belongs to, perhaps furniture, doors, that type of information. We can also renumber just an instance mark parameter just by picking the order within a specific, picking the elements within a specific model, and it will force overwrite any information that might previously be in there. And then you can renumber the grids, as you see here, rooms or spaces, as well as views on sheet. So that views on sheet is also a pretty powerful one, especially if you've gone through, you've put some details on a sheet, and at some point in time, you know, things got added, deleted, they're kind of out of order now. That's a great way to go back and clean that information up. So our material legend and legend by category works slightly different than kind of the out of the box that a lot of people are used to. So if I do a material legend here, give me active view first. You can actually do a material legend of a specific view. So you can start to pull that. And of course, available patterns, you can always add and delete those as necessary. If I do a quick OK, you'll see that all of a sudden you now have all the drafting patterns that are associated with your level 1 view. Another powerful tool, the room to floor. I feel like it's kind of written kind of backwards, to be honest with you. It actually creates a floor for a selected room. So don't let that title kind of fool you. So if you're working and you have a bunch of finished floors, depending upon different areas, a quick and easy way to go, put those floors in there. Another quick way to edit grid names, you can come in here and do that as well. This one brings up here, edit grid name. Away in here, you see grid name. Perhaps if I just want to call this A, apply and close, you can easily override that. All right, so our resize section box, I'm going to talk about that kind of in conjunction with what you're seeing here. I find that it's pretty useful. So if I would go to a 3D view, I'm going to zoom extent here, so you can see your resize section box. So another dialog box does come up here, and you will see there are a couple of tabs at the top. So you can always manually adjust them, which I'm sure a lot of you have been doing. You can also go based upon just a specific room or space. So for example, I'm just going to zoom in on my stair. You'll see that obviously quickly drives down just to that stair area. Really simple. You guys don't have to draw the box around it, all that stuff. You can also do it based upon some grids. You can also do it based upon specific floors. So if I did my floor plan, you'll see goes to my floor plan 1, super quick, super easy. Doing OK. And then in conjunction with that, jumping over to that zoom to. So there's zoom to room and zoom to space, as well as to selection. So perhaps you have done a 3D section box to just your first floor, but from there, you then want to go and look at, maybe it's an office. It'll zoom really up close and personal with that particular room. This is great, especially if you have larger projects that I'm sure a lot of you guys are working on. Quick and easy way to dial down to where you're trying to get to. I just always warn people, be careful that you're not resizing your section box and then trying to zoom to an area that's not actually, cropped within that section box. Right, turning my section box off for a second. So we see our toggle here. category or instance, just a little bit different. You can select and then excuse me, turn that category or instance on and off. And then a quick and easy way, turn something on and off. Perhaps you want to turn the walls off. Great way, turns it off really quick and easy. And if I go to my visibility and graphics, you will see that it does work in conjunction with that. So you can't end up in any kind of, twilight zone of things appearing to be on and off in different types of views. So I turn that, I'm going to leave that off actually for the moment. Then you can certainly come in here and on, turn those walls back on, and they're right back to you. Just a quick, simple, easy way to, turn things on and off. View utilities. So this is the view lookup is another personal favorite of mine, especially once you get into larger projects. So this view lookup, let me expand, I can't expand it anymore, goes through and gives you an actual preview of any and all views within your entire project. So perhaps, you have a detail somewhere, but you just can't find it. You feel like you've clicked through 100 views and it's still not there. You can come in here, you can click through these easily and quickly. It'll give you a preview. And then the best part about it is you can actually open that view, go right to it, and start your work. Right, moving into our crop region, just some different ways to actually crop down items. So you can see, from selection, you can match crop regions from another view, crop it down based upon a specific camera view also. And then we have our sheets. So there's a view and sheet manager. You can start to align viewports on sheets easier. Duplicating sheets, orient views to faces, a lot of different items in here. Bringing up that view and sheet manager. Might take a second. You can easily see in here all of your views, your sheets, and your viewports. It tells you, hey, my floor plan 1 is actually, what sheet number it's on, what that sheet name is. And then in addition to that, what that title on sheet is, because we all know you might have a view name and a title on sheet that don't actually line up. And of course, it always tells you if you don't have any, if your view is not placed on a sheet. So that's a quick and easy way to see what has been populated and what has not. And it's an easy way to come in here and change this if you certainly need to. Okay. Go. And now I'm stuck in a twilight loop. All right, bear with me, guys. It normally does not do that. There we go. Maybe not. All right. I love live demos. Just going to close this window. Maybe. Rebecca, are you seeing any other questions come across at this point in time?
I do not see any right now. Actually, let me open it up and get a better look. We actually do have one question. Can you use this with an existing project?
Yes, you can use these whenever you would get your license. You can use this with any project that you have running or see future start with. There is no limitation to what type of projects to use this on. So one of the last things, a couple last things as we're wrapping up here. So there is room views. So what this will do, if I select one room here, it will actually start to create some interior elevations or building elevations for you. So perhaps you're doing restrooms and you need some interior elevations or kitchens or really anything. You can certainly do that. What that view parameter is. Bunch of different information there that you can populate that with. Create that real quick. And you can see that my interior elevations did appear over here, my east, north, south, and west. Taking a look at those, you'll see that it is there. One of the last tools is our view depth override. And one of the things that I do want to make you all aware of, if you do use the depth queuing that is out of the box with Revit, this does not really work in conjunction with that. Just being transparent about that. This would be great for any presentation, kind of early on type of elevations or something along those lines. But just keep in mind, it is different versus that depth queuing that is out of the box, and they don't work in conjunction. And then just a few other things. There's a few different ways you can select some items. It's like categories, family, whether items are hosted, not hosted, tied to a specific work set, just a whole host of ways that really we aren't seeing out of the box with Revit. So certainly easy to do. I know that is a very quick overview for you all. I am seeing a few more questions come in, which we will get to right now. So let me see. So we're getting asked, Rebecca, this is more in relation to sales. Do we need to purchase this separate from our software that we purchased from you? And then also an AutoCAD license, what do I need to do to download the ad? So Rebecca, do you want to speak about the licensing information for a moment?
Yeah, of course. So to answer both of those questions, so this is an add-on, and you can purchase this separately or with an annual support contract as well. We do have like a little bundle package for that. So you can purchase it, and we just send you the link, the serial number. You click it, put the serial number in, and that will be there for you. So if you guys reach out to your sales reps, if you don't know who it is, you can email me and I can forward you over to them. But if you send them an email, let them know that you're interested in these productivity tools. They can get you a quote, and if you need support as well, it can be bundled or just by itself. So if you guys need any help with that, definitely email me. You can reply to the confirmation email, anything about this webinar, and it'll make its way over to me and we can help you in getting these. Or we can even double check and see if you maybe already have them and you just need Revit, or you just didn't realize you had them. So we can definitely check on all that for you.
All right, thank you for that answer. And one of the things I do kind of forecasting out for everyone, one of the things I do want to bring to everyone's attention, if I can drag this over from my other screen, we do have another webinar next week, next Thursday specifically at 2 p.m. And what this webinar is the People Flow Toolkit. So if you are in the architecture field and you are the one really designing spaces these days, the People Flow Toolkit is something that I encourage everyone to become familiar with. Autodesk has released these. It is something that if you are using 2020 or 2021, you certainly have access to. It's not any additional add-in or any extra purchase. But just to give you a brief overview, the People Flow really takes into account multiple paths of travel, which we see is an additional step to what is already with Revit. And then we are also seeing some other tips and tricks that Autodesk is releasing in regards to spacing people out. So of course, in the times that we are with COVID and social distancing, this is certainly becoming a concern for, lots of people, and also how do we design moving forward. So that's something I certainly encourage everyone to research a little bit more. If you can't make the webinar, please reach out. We'd love to get you more information. We do feel that it is pretty vital for everyone to understand, since you have access to it. With that does bring us to close of our time. I know we're 2 minutes over. If you have any other questions, please feel free to type them in. If not, I hope everyone has a great rest of their day, and we will be in contact with you if we need to. All right. Thank you, everyone.